Jessica from Mrs. Van Something, and I am bringing to you the second video in our series of how to start homeschooling or revamp your homeschooling. Either way, whatever works for you. So this video is dedicated to all the different teaching methods or philosophies or styles, whatever you want to call it. It's dedicated to that. What is a teaching philosophy? Well, there's a ton of them. Traditional, unschooling, Charlotte Mason, Montessori, Reggio, Waldorf, classical, relaxed, eclectic, project-based, Thomas Jefferson education, unit study. Am I missing any? I'm pretty sure I'm probably missing something. What does that all mean? Oh my word, they're being loud and crazies. Just a second. Okay, so as I was saying, lots of different methods that are out there and different philosophies that you can follow and adapt and adhere to. There are people that are purely Charlotte Mason or purely Waldorf or whatever the style is. They can adhere strictly to that philosophy, or you can be like me and adhere to whatever you're choosing. And my toddler just left out the back door. Hey, no. Someone just needs some cuddle time. Mwah. Why are you pushing Mama away? Don't push me away. Let me love you. I love you. I love you. Okay, so as I said, you can be a purist and follow the exact blueprint for any philosophy that you choose, or you can be cool like me and be eclectic. And all that means is that I pull inspiration from various philosophies. I take the best of those things, in my opinion, and pull them in and cherish them deeply in our homeschool journey. So, what I will do is I will send you on this journey with a link down below. And it will be a quiz that you take. And on that quiz, you will probably be so confused and not know how to answer these questions because you may not be exposed to any of that. Or maybe you are a homeschooler currently, but have never really narrowed in on your homeschool style. So pause the video, take the quiz. When you come back, have your top 3 readily available. And I will also have links down below to point you in the direction of those philosophies. Did you take it? Did you take the quiz? Yeah. I was shocked. And I will say that my responses have probably no. I will say that my philosophy has probably changed. The results of those have changed during the course of our journey. You being silly. It has changed, it's shifted, it's molded. I've become more aware of how I want to teach and why I want to teach and all the above. So, just know that you could start off and you might be really drawn to something and then realize that's not exactly where I want our homeschool journey to go. I took our top 3, or 4 really, and hodgepodged it together. Hodgepodge? I don't even know. Is that a real thing? Is that a term? I feel like I'm messing that up. My top 4, I can't even remember the order that they were in, but it's Montessori, Charlotte Mason, unit study, and Waldorf. So those were my top 4. And I've kind of taken the bits and pieces that will work for our family, and the theories kind of overlap each other in certain areas. I believe in child-led interests, but I want to direct them.
I have to go potty.
You have to go potty. All right. I want to let them explore different areas and give them lots of opportunities to explore. And so that's kind of along the Charlotte Mason feast idea, and exposing them to art and music and nature study and handiworks like crocheting or metalworking or whatever it is, whittling. All these things are kind of tied in to various methods. Lots of books, but we don't do textbooks. We do like to have some formal along with informal. So learn that you will most likely fall into the eclectic category, as most do. And eclectic just means that you don't adhere to one particular style. And that's okay. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. He says it's okay, so it must be okay. And if you stick with one, that's okay too. This quiz will just help propel you in the somewhat right direction. And just know that it's okay to explore and play and relax a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little snippet of each and like 1 or 2 sentences about what I think each of these teaching styles reflect and what their main objective is. So Charlotte Mason is highly rich literature based, lots of living textbooks. Charlotte Mason is fantastic. So Charlotte Mason is a rich literature based philosophy that really focuses on an atmosphere, that you are raising a child, the whole child, and nurturing that, in the sense that you're going to look into all of the subjects. You're diving in and giving them a feast of sorts. Waldorf is totally like limiting technology, not any formal education before the age of 7, physical mile markers to determine where they should be academically, lots of hands-on, interdisciplinary curriculum, so it's like overlapping multiple subjects. That's what that means. They have a rhythm to the day and the week, so lots of routine, and goes with the seasons and all of that. It's very earthy, holistic, natural type learning. Montessori and Reggio, I'll kind of pair those together, but Montessori is definitely child-led. They're like sponges between 0 and 6, and so you kind of give them these areas to explore and learn on their own, because they're inept to inept. I don't think that's even a word. What is with my brain today? They are inclined to learn on their own, encouraging independence. So you'll see preschoolers in the kitchen cooking and encouraging cleaning up after themselves, and a lot of role playing and things like that. Reggio is similar in certain aspects. They have a lot of open-ended materials for the children to explore and play with, to stimulate creativity and imagination. Lots of sensory, touching, feeling, listening, tasting, all those sorts of things. Observing. There's an inviting environment, so it's very focused on a organized, inviting areas, designated areas that they can kind of go to and from to explore. Next, I will go over Thomas Jefferson education, which is definitely child-led learning. Okay, so the Thomas Jefferson approach is against traditional schooling. They need to focus on virtues and character development, quality of life that drives society and home life. Develop passions at an early age. As a parent, you foster that passion, and it is under the principle that we are natural learners. They explore lots of different topics. They dive in deeply into these topics, and it might shift rapidly just because they're searching for their passion. So allowing them to search for their passion is key in the Thomas Jefferson learning style. Next, we come to classical. There's the ancient method to think critically. Think of the Roman era or Greek learning styles, good, true, and beautiful. Classic literature and historic figures play an important role. They teach according to a trivium, 3 stages. Grammar is facts and memorization, so they do that at an early age. Logic would be the next stage, which is argumentation. And then rhetoric is self-expression. Project-based learning deals with projects. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory there. I would also classify unit studies kind of in this unit studies, project-based learning, where they have interdisciplinary. So you're working on multiple subjects at once, which is, in my opinion, awesome. I mean, saving time. You think of a book, say Robin Hood, and you take that and then you really dive in deeper into Robin Hood. It could be you're going to write a play on Robin Hood and all the components of that. You could acquire a skill like archery, come up with a project talking about economics and how you would define Robin Hood economics and how that could apply to certain things today. So project-based allows for creativity, connecting content to community. So sometimes these are like actual projects. Imagine there's this grant for park renovations in your local community. A project-based learning would take that and go, okay, well, what would you do with that? How would you distribute the funds? What would your ideal park entail? And then writing up proposals or things like that. Coming up with PowerPoint presentations or diagrams or dioramas or things like that. A lot of project-based, hands-on, applicable learning. I think that's all of the different learning styles that I can. Oh, of course, traditional is like pretty much public school at home. So yeah, we're eclectic, and so we have kind of a Waldorf rhythm to our week. Where we have a main lesson that we focus on, we have a main activity that we do. I have not a set time frame, but more of a routine that we work through. Then as far as language arts, we are definitely more Charlotte Mason. We also, I say fun schooling, where we do games and Mad Libs and some electronic games, which is not very Waldorfish of us, but now that I've overwhelmed you with so much information, I would love for you to just take your top 3 or 4 and really dive in and see which one you connect with. Maybe it's all of them. Maybe you start researching and realize Charlotte Mason has it all figured out, or you start researching and go, wow, that's some weird things that I don't agree with. So you can take things from them, mix it together, make it your own. That's some beautiful singing going on. Is the monkey singing or are you singing? The next video that I will go over is the learning styles for each child. Each child is so different. Like our firstborn and our secondborn, they just learn completely different, almost opposite of each other. And don't feel like you have to have it all figured out either. Like my first year, I thought I had it all figured out, for one. I did so much research. I researched things for a full year before deciding on the curriculum, and I didn't know anything about, Charlotte Mason or Montessori or any of those things. I mean, I just didn't know what I was doing. I thought I did, but I didn't. I didn't research nearly enough. I got a first-hand look at what was working, what didn't work. And now, looking back, I'm like, oh, that didn't work because XYZ. I don't even know what else to say right now. Graham, please put the scissors down.